We are down to 7 races until the chase cutoff at the end of June. But tonight, we head to a racetrack that traditionally was early in the season, is now midway through the season here in the Wawa Cup Series. Though it may not exist in real life anymore, it lives on here in NR2003, and tonight we head to Southern California and the Auto Club Speedway as we run the NAPA 400. It's 50 laps of action around this 2-mile flat D-shaped oval in Fontana, California, and it's going to be an interesting one here as the ratings have really built up to this point in the season. Here we go for the NAPA 400. Let's see who gets it done here tonight at the Auto Club Speedway. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Auto Club Speedway here in Fontana, California on a Friday night in May. This race used to be all the way back in February, but since we do not have a real-life Auto Club race anymore, the schedule got moved around a little bit. We took the first Darlington race off the schedule so that this racetrack could still be on the schedule, and we're back once again for the NAPA 400, and hey, at this point in the season, we clearly saw it last week at Kansas. We got some drivers who are definitely better than others. The ratings have really started to build up, and it's getting very, very interesting in terms of this chase bubble with only 7 races left to go here in the regular season. I'm joined alongside Caleb Rose and Echo Evans-Ross for the call of this race, and both you guys have contenders for this chase. Of course, Caleb, you got Nicholas Samadeo only 6 points behind. And Echo, you've got Jack Haas 6 points ahead. You guys are battling for that last spot going into this race. I'll start with you, Echo. What does Jack need to do in this race? And even Kirsten Bell, of course, she's in a wild card race as well, to keep a good run in the points going into our next 6 races.
Well, both of them qualified well, so pretty much at this point, just keep your position from where you qualified, stay top 10, just try and get as many points as you can. You don't have to win the whole thing, but you just have to get those points. If you don't focus on that, the points will make themselves work out. And even so, even if they both finish up there, they could leap someone who's ahead of them and knock them out of the top 10. So it's always a big battle to get into the chase, and it's going to go down to the wire here.
And Caleb, you got Nicholas Samadeo, who's on the outside looking in coming into this race. Of course, had a great run at Kansas last week and building that momentum, starting 4th here tonight. What does he need to do to maybe jump Jack Haas in that top 10 with these last 6 races coming up after this one?
And honestly, I think he just kind of needs to do what Echo mentioned, just kind of play it safe. You know, he's starting up there in the top 5, just ride the race out, try your best to stay up there, which you probably could do considering it's a little bit harder to pass here than we could see at a lot of other tracks. So just try to stay up towards the front and get some much-needed points to potentially project himself up into the top 10 in points, but yeah, it's going to be hard telling what happens because, like you said, the ratings are really starting to come into effect now, and we're getting closer and closer towards the chase, so the anticipation for all these guys is pretty much through the roof right now, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens here tonight.
It definitely will, and I'm intrigued to see how this race plays out. Because, hey, like I said, passing here is going to be a little bit difficult here in this race, and reason for that is the outside lane is the stronger line. Now, these guys can kind of get the inside lane to work, but there's not as much grip on the exit of the corners here. And we may see a driver dominate this race. It is very possible, especially with the ratings in play, but we're going to see some guys who we know are strong drivers who are starting midway through the field, work their way up through the field. It's going to be a fascinating race, and of course we have ourselves a cycle of pit stops midway through as well. About a 28-lap fuel run here tonight in this NAPA 400. Here's how they line up in the point standings. Of course, the chase grid right there as you see it. Thomas Trostel didn't have the best of runs last week at Kansas, but he's still 82 points ahead of the cutoff, and he starts 2nd here tonight as well, which is very good for him. It's a great place to start here at Auto Club. Ruggledorn starts 3rd. He's 47 points ahead of the cutoff. Trey Bartow in the 4 machine. It hasn't been the best of runs as of late. He's not found himself up front since that Rockingham win, but he's 46 points ahead of the cutoff still. Not a good run for Blaine Keys last week, but he's still 29 points ahead. Angel Gutierrez 21 points ahead. Our last winner, Ladovic Charette, 14 points ahead of the cutoff with Brian and Drew Webb, respectively 13 and 12 points ahead. And then it's Matt Tuck and Jack Haas, the last 2 guys in the chase, currently 10 and 6 points ahead. And it's Nicholas Samadeo, only 6 points behind that cutoff. Not a good run for Daniel Paulus Jr. last week. He's 20 points behind the main cutoff now. Braden Perez is 29 points behind. Brady Mardi Gras is 30 points behind. And then our pole sitter, Matthew Hubert, tied with Daytona 500 winner LJ Cimento, 37 points behind coming into this event. Wildcard got interesting, though. And Echo, unfortunately for you, Kirsten Bell went from having a 40-some point lead in the wild card to being 17 points behind just because Daniel Paulus Jr. fell outside the top 10. And that's the wild thing about the wild card. The top 2 drivers in points with wins outside the top 10 get those wild card positions. And even though Kirsten has 2 wins, it doesn't really help her in terms of the points at this point because she's 17 points behind LJ Cimento for that last wild card spot. And Daniel Paulus Jr.'s got 34 points ahead of him. But all those drivers have to be careful not to lose too many points because you get someone like Jack Haas to fall outside the top 10. Jack Haas already has a race victory this season, and he's a part of that wild card battle as well, even though right now he's in the top 10 in points. So that's where the wild card factor of the wild card comes in. Even the wild card's got a wild card. We've got so many wild cards there. All right, we're going to have some fun here tonight with this one. Of course, a late night race here on the East Coast, a 10 p.m. Eastern start time, latest Wawa Cup Series race ever. But hey, it's a Friday night. We're all here having some fun. And it's Matthew Hubert leading us to the green flag here for this NAPA 400. And like we mentioned, alongside him, Thomas Troxel there in the 62, our points leader, trying to get his second win of the season. Of course, got Talladega 3 weeks ago, the last time both of you were in the booth with me, so we'll have to see if that's a good omen for him. Rogel Dorn in the 74 to the inside of Nicholas Samadeo there in row number 2. And both of those guys were very strong last week at Kansas. They get the race victory here today. You got Laura Chung to the inside of Bruno Diacomo there in row number 3. Braden Perez and Bruno, or should I say Bernardo de Oliveira in the 57. And then how about your team, Echo? You got Jack Haas and Kirsten Bell right in the same row there in row 5. With Blaine Keys, Travis Crampton, and then Drew Webb, Seth Cole rounding up the top 14 positions. Make sure everyone's rolling off all right. Echo and then Caleb. Who do you guys think's going to victory lane here tonight in this NAPA 400?
I like Troxel's chances. He won the last time we were here. He's got the outside line on the start. He's been fast all season. I think Troxel will get it done tonight.
Well, I think it's probably going to be someone who starts relatively up front with it being a little bit more difficult to pass here, but I think I'm going to go with the number 98 of Travis Crampton starting just outside the top 10 there in that 98 on that outside lane. NS Racing, they've shown speed as of late. Looking to try and turn things around from the difficult season they've had on the channel so far this year. I think today could potentially be the day that they finally turn things around and get their first win of the season with Travis Crampton.
We'll have to see. A home race for Travis Crampton here in Southern California. I know he'd love to get it done. He's 33rd in points, though, coming into this race. But hey, anyone can win at any given moment, even with the rating. So we'll have to see who gets it done here tonight. Here we go. We're green flag racing in Southern California. The NAPA 400 is underway here in the Wawa Cup Series.
And the 59 jumped straight to the outside immediately, 3 wide.
Well, Matthew Hubert in the 0 was able to get the best jump from the pole position. He'll lead lap number 1 here at Auto Club. And you also got Nicholas Samadeo. Just like you said, Echo, a great jump from the 4th starting position on that outside lane. And that's where the grip is here around this Auto Club Speedways. On that outside lane, you can still get some of the work on the inside as Troxel's trying to do so on Bruno Diacomo here for 3rd. Rogel Dorn, how about Blaine Keys moving up to 6th right there. And these are guys we expect to run well on these high-speed ovals, and that's what they're doing at the moment. But look at the mess we've got back in here. 3 and 4 wide and whatnot. There's Kirsten Bell in the middle of all of it. Avery Alford, Drew Webb, Roberto Crown Jr., they're almost 4 wide back in there, and they are 4 wide as they come across the start-finish line to complete lap 2.
And oh man, yeah, that was an absolutely crazy start there as Samadeo got an excellent jump on Thomas Troxel. That's going to get him up to 2nd. Yeah, on the opening laps, we'll usually see a lot of calamity happening mid-pack. They're usually able to make it work, though, as Auto Club is a wide track, so You can do that, but look at this. For the lead, here comes Nicholas Samadeo.
And using the outside lane to his advantage as well. You know what? I think he did that in this race last year. Use the outside lane to make a pass, and you know what? That's what you got to do. He's going to bring Troxel and maybe even Blaine Keys with him. You know, Matthew Hubert is a rookie driver. The three guys he's racing around, well, even though Samadeo has never won in the Wawa Cup Series, he's finished second enough times to almost count as getting a win. But Troxel and Blaine Keys, that's 8 total wins in the series between actually, well, if you want to count the smooth stuff from last year with Keys, it's a lot of wins between those two guys. So no surprise to see him kind of jump on that 0 right there, as Hubert might fall back to the 4th position. But how about Nicholas Samadeo pulling out ahead in this 59 machine? Of course, Caleb, I know you're holding your breath being in the booth with him leading a race, and we all know what happened at Bristol. Hey, you know what? It ain't over till it's over. We know that much. How about these guys going 3 wide for second? Troxel, Hubert, and Blaine Keys still battling for that position. We'll have to see who ends up getting it after all is said and done here.
They are going hard for that second position. 3 wide for almost 2 or 3 laps there. It's crazy that this track just can support those lanes for so long. Troxel's trying to run down Samadeo, though. I think Samadeo's got a great start. He caught him napping on the start, but I think you're going to see that this race is going to be more of a long run kind of deal. Long runs are going to be really key here with how wide it is, how racy it is. Guys who can go faster the longer we go are going to be the ones in contention. Hey, Jack Haas in the top 5.
And Kirsten Bell right behind him as well. Good run for you guys right now at Evans Ross Racing. Of course, Kirsten Bell already a 2-time winner this season at Las Vegas and Dover, both high-speed ovals. And of course, Jack Haas won at Martinsville, but doing a great job here today. And you know, Jack knows that Nicholas Samadeo is right behind him in that chase bubble right now, so he wants to get as many points as he can, or at least minimize the damage, because he's leading right now in that 59 machine. But good run for those guys there. How about Travis Crampton, top 10? Seth Cole's in the top 10. Laura Chung, Bruno Diacomo. Rogel I'm a little surprised. He's struggling a little bit at the beginning of this race. Had a great run last week at Kansas. Could have been the race winner the way that race played out, but still got a top 5 out of it there. And, he's second in points coming into this race. Just outside the top 10 now, so he's fallen back just a little bit right there. There's our last winner, Ludovic Charette in the 51 machine. Just outside the top 10 as well, around the 14th position. Daniel Paulus Jr. trying to rebound after his tough luck at Kansas last week. A lot of the guys who were up there in points running up front in this race right now. Matt Tuck, one of those guys who's kind of slipping back a little bit. Trey Barger trying to gain some momentum back there. Drew Webb not really getting a good start to this one, and he's midway through the field right here after finishing second last week at Kansas.
Yeah, and I was going to say that with Haas and Samadeo running up front and Webb and Tuck kind of further back, they could conceivably both jump either one of those two if they both have good days and those two keep running where they are. They're out there. It's crazy how close the chase can get in terms of points.
Thomas Troxel here, trying to hang on to second place ahead of Matthew Hubert, but Nicholas Samadeo pacing this field right now in the 59 machine. We'll have to see if he can hold on as this thing goes on. Like I said, about a 28-lap fuel run for these guys, so just a little bit past halfway in terms of the fuel, and the pit stop will be critical to winning this race and when you come down. And of course, you got to put enough fuel in the tank as well. We're still reeling from that from 2 weeks ago at Dover. But meanwhile, Kirsten Bell has gotten around her teammate, Jack Haas, right there, and Blaine Keys has fallen the 4th, and you got Laura Chung trying to get on this 39 as well. But Ludovic Charette, look at this 51. He finished second at Dover, won last week at Kansas, and definitely the hottest driver in the series right now is this 51 of Ludovic Charette.
Definitely nice to see Charette finally getting their first career win here in the Wawa Cup Series. That 51 has looked fast all season long, but just hadn't been able to get it done until last week at Kansas. Finally getting first career win in the Cup Series, and Charette looking quick here once again in that 51 up here in the top 10. Right now, looking for a way around both Jack Haas and Bell. Is he always going to... Looked like he was going to try to split it through the middle there. Not going to quite get there just yet, but up front, here comes Blaine Keys in the 41, trying to go for second on Thomas Troxel. Yeah, like you mentioned, Nicholas Samadeo. We know that he knows how to navigate his way around this track. He got the lead early on in the going last year, led a bunch of laps, still came home with the top 10. looking to potentially even one-up that here today and potentially get him his first Wawa Cup Series victory, which is honestly kind of interesting to say.
I know. It is something that he's yet to go to victory lane in this series, and he had so many second-place finishes, and obviously Bristol, too, was coming to the white flag, the race leader, and blew an engine. Of all places, he blew an engine at Bristol. Gotta be careful with Troxel, though. Good run for the 62 off the exit, and he's going to try to make a move right here down the backstretch.
Troxel got a great exit, but he's going to be on the inside. I don't know if that'll stick for him.
It's not. That outside groove is where all the grip is, and that's where San Mateo made his pass on Matthew Hubert, and that was driver's skill right there. Getting around that zero machine, Hubert was not ready for that pass to be made on him.
Might lose
that 59. Yeah, that's...
Everyone might go around Troxel after that.
Not a lot of grip on that inside lane, as you can tell. Hubert and Kirsten Bell both going to get around the 62 machine. How about Daniel Paulus Jr. moving his way back up? He had a terrible run at Kansas last week. Well, he's like, I don't want that to happen again, and here he is, knocking on the door of the top 5 here at Auto Club. We'll have to see if he can find his way around Troxel right here. He's got that outside lane, trying to get some momentum there down the front stretch. San Mateo remains out front in the 59 machine. These guys continue the battle. Laura Chung, Jack Haas, Ludovic Charette. So many great battles all throughout this racetrack. Trey Bartow and Matt Tuck just outside the top 10 right now. And these are all guys we expect to run well. But like I said, I think the biggest shocker is Drew Webb, because Drew Webb's been up front in a lot of these races as of late. We thought that Drew Webb arc was starting, and right now it is not working out too well for our defending champion in that 99 machine. And Angel Gutierrez, another one of those guys who's top 10 in points, also struggling here tonight. And he's still ahead of his teammate, but only by 1 position. And based on how their season has gone, that's maybe not the best thing for him. Hey, Ace Garcia, I know he just left the finish of the race in the top 20. It has been a miserable season for those guys in Millennium Motorsports, and that 44 camp specifically. It's been a much better season for Angel Gutierrez, but Ace Garcia, race after race, mechanical issue after mechanical issue, wreck after wreck. Trey just wants to bring it home top 20 at some point and start building a little bit of momentum here in this season, even though his chase hopes are essentially non-existent at this point. That's something I know you don't want to see, even though his teammate is leading. Logan Williams all the way down in 39th. You know, what's up with Logan Williams this season? I thought this was going to be a better year for him, and so far it has not. And that 95, who won the Southern 500 last year, struggling mightily this season here in the Wawa Cup Series.
It's really interesting to see, especially compared to Nicholas Samadillo, but regardless of the fact, Logan, he's shown flashes of potential so far still this season. He led all those laps at Bristol, but yeah, honestly, I know he's putting a bunch of effort in, so I can at least definitely give him props for that. But yeah, it's still just kind of tough seeing him struggle week in and week out in that 95. But
how about Matthew Hubert? And Blaine Keys trying to make a move on San Mateo, lost the momentum on the inside, and Hubert took advantage of that. You know, got to give a lot of props to Matthew Hubert. He's had a pretty solid year there at Rut Racing. Of the 2 drivers there, he's definitely the better of the 2 so far in points this year. And you know what? He's got a shot at the chase. If he can get a good run here tonight and put a string of good runs together in these last 6 races before the end of the regular season, he could find himself in the chase. It is very possible. And how about Hubert? He's going to have a huge run on San Mateo right here.
Good run here.
He may even lead this lap. You know, he isn't happy about losing a lead from San Mateo, but he wants to take it back away and show these veterans that he is a solid driver. And you know what? He might be able to dive it in enough, but San Mateo's going to have that outside lane to his advantage. And that right there, that is the place you need to be, and San Mateo able to hold on to the race lead. Here comes Blaine Keys in the 41, and it will cost him second right there. And how about Kirsten Bell up to 4th? You know, watch out for her. This is the kind of race that she could win. Just like Dover was. She's lurking right there in the top 5, ready for some issues to occur ahead of her. And I know that she is a solid driver, ready to get her 3rd win of the season already.
Both of our cars are doing pretty good, staying in the top 10, just like I said they should.
Same can be said for Grattan Autosport as well, with Ludovic Charette and Matt Tuck just inside the top 10. Robledorn there in 11th. Matt Tuck, who won this race a year ago, his only Wawa Cup Series race victory, doing a pretty solid job here tonight in the Celsius Crusader. I know he wanted to rebound after Dover, had a solid run at Kansas, finished 11th. Of course, his teammate Ludovic Charette got the win in that one. Daniel Paulus Jr. just ahead of these guys here with Jack Haas trying to get around them as well. One thing that we tend to see here at Auto Club as well is we get these smaller packs to form up throughout the racetrack, and that's what we're seeing right here. So you got these 6 guys in line, you got the 5 guys who are leading, you got Blaine Keys going for the lead on Nicholas Samadeo. Not going to be able to do it as Samadeo aero blocks him. That's a buzzword right now, isn't it?
Man, these next gens are terrible, aren't they?
How about Matthew Hubert trying to get the pass made on Blaine Keys? You know, it's so difficult to get the inside lane to work here at Auto Club that these guys try to make that move on the inside. They lose the grip, and the guy behind them gets the advantage. You know, Sam Amadeo was the only one who was smart enough to just go to the outside to make the pass to begin with, and that's why he's the race leader right now, as we're closing in our cycle of pit stops here in this NAPA 400.
That's the other thing that you tend to notice about this kind of track. They'll single file out for a bit, they'll get strung out, and then they'll just bunch back up and spread all out, and the cycle just kind of repeats itself every 5 to 8 laps usually. This is a really good track for racing, and then it gets strung out, and then they get strung right back together. It's like an accordion.
Uh-oh, Blaine's got it. Blaine's got the outside. He was watching Sam Amadeo earlier, but you know what? Nicholas found something kind of on that inside and shooting back up. He's gaining some momentum there, even though he's blocking the inside lane, which is very smart driving. And you know, I don't need to say it, I don't want to jinx it, but you know how much Nicholas Samadeo wants to get a Wawa Cup Series race win. Obviously, one of the most storied drivers on the channel. 2 Indianapolis 250 wins. Of course, that's coming up in just a couple of weeks. He's going for his 3rd over there. Got the win in Dirt Extreme 5 on Monday for his 26th career win on the channel. He's going for number 27 tonight. But none of them have come under the Wawa Cup Series banner, which is, like you said, Caleb, very hard to imagine that he's gone 43 races in this series without going to victory lane, considering he almost won the championship last year. We'll have to see how well he fares as this race continues on. The cycle of pit stops is going to be huge, and I know that's been an issue there at Appalachian Motorsports. What do these guys need to do to make sure they get out ahead of everybody?
Well, I guess just do what you need to do in pit road, take what you need to take, and just make sure you get everything to 100%, especially that fuel cell, after we saw it Dover. But Nicholas Samadeo, he's already showing that he's got what it takes to win here tonight so far. He knows where to put his car on the racetrack, and you're seeing it right here, letting Blaine Keys go to the inside. He's probably gonna use that grip on the outside. He's got a run on the 41. Keys trying to stay strong on the inside, though. They're going to be side by side off in turn number 2.
I think he tried to switch lanes a little too much right there. That gave Blaine Keys a lot of momentum. Blaine's going to really have to dive it in, though, if he's going to have any shot.
Pinched him down.
That 59 ended up getting the advantage down the backstretch, and Hubert's going to take second back away from Blaine Keys. Matthew Hubert has stayed right in this thing. Here. And you know what? He's going to have a shot to the inside of Samadeo, and Samadeo trying to block. Oh, my. That might not work out too well for the 59, trying to make that move there. If Hubert can get a good line into the corner. But that outside lane,
runs up the outside,
he just knows where it's at. He's like Denny Hamlin at Dover.
Knows where to park that thing.
Hey, we still got a cycle of pit stops, though. This thing is far from over. Of course, caution-free so far. We have yet to have a caution in this series since Talladega. We'll have to see if we get yet another caution-free race here in the Wawa Cup Series. The nice thing about these caution-free races, though, is that the cream always rises to the top. The best drivers always find themselves up front in these caution-free races, and we have seen that be the case in the past few races here in the Wawa Cup Series. Guys like Matt Tuck, Thomas Troxel, Blaine Keys, Nicholas Samadeo, Ladovic Strat have all found themselves in top 10 runs in these string of races the past couple of weeks. Once again, they find themselves in that position. How about Braden Perez trying to rebound a little bit? Hasn't been as good of a season for Perez as it was last year. 29 points behind the cutoff, but he's top 10 right now for Team Williams, and in Bartow and Paulus there, 11th and 12th as, here we go, the cycle's beginning. Nicholas Samadeo.
I did not realize the pit
entry is a little bit earlier than you'd expect it, so it is not an issue on the 59. He's going to be one of the first to come down, and that could get interesting. If this thing stays green, all those guys who are staying out might have a slight tire advantage. Now, the tire wear here, ironically, is not that high. Only about a half-second fall-off here at the Auto Club Speedway. We don't have it set too high here. That's going to give the lead to Matthew Hubert. He's back out front of the Zero Machine, but expect to see these guys come down right about now.
I mean, here, what I think the 59 is going to have here, he's going to have fresh tires earlier, so he's going to be able to build a bit of a lead. But the problem is
that's a big problem right there. Caution on the racetrack. And I don't know who it was. They got somebody's around.
Oh.
It's Hubert, and we've got a bit of a pile up there trying to come down the pit lane. They're racing back to the line, and they're scrambling all over the place.
That's more than a bit of a pile up.
My goodness.
Well, if Samadeo beat them out,
which he did not. So he's gonna get he's gonna be tail end, and he's gonna lose all of that track position.
I think he's technically still racing back to the caution.
Yeah, he's got to be careful to race back with these guys and not get into them.
So I think.
So actually, yeah, you're right, Echo. You're right. Whoa, he's got to be careful right there.
If he doesn't.
There we go.
Crash these guys. Yeah,
right,
I think he's racing back to the caution, so he's going to stay lead lap here, I believe.
He will. And great job by Nicholas to not wreck those guys when he was going around. We could have had an NR moment right there. All right, we will probably end up with some wave rounds here. This could get a little interesting because we had a set of guys who were attempting to come down right there, who did in fact come down. It was Blaine Keys, Matthew Hubert, Matt Tuck, Kirsten Bell. You know what? I don't think anyone's going to get cycled on the tail end here, because if Samadeo was able to get back around, he's going to lose the positions to the guys who came down that lap. So he is going to lose some ground, but he's not going to lose too much ground. That's going to be interesting. These guys here who stayed out, I think, are going to be at the disadvantage because of that. This depends on when they actually come back around right here, which it looks like they're coming around now. Blaine Keys there in the 41, and that will be the case. I think Blaine Keys is going to end up taking this race lead right here. So an interesting little cycle right there. Going to shake this field up just a little bit. Trox will win the race off of these guys.
But it's not going to hurt him as much as it could have.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse for Samadeo. He's only going to end up losing.
He's going to drop to, I believe, 8th.
8th position, correct.
It could be worse.
Well, yeah, that definitely could have been worse for Samadeo, but that's the risk you take when coming down a lap early like that, and thankfully it didn't end up hurting him. Of course, the wave around rule is in place here. We may end up using that on Roberto Crown Jr., depending on how much damage they have in that 5 machine. Clearly, if they got that damage, we really don't want them starting up front and holding the field up. Going to check to see how it cycles through right here, and our first caution here in the Wawa Cup Series since Talladega, and it was a Talladega-style big one there. I think there was a skill issue coming down the pit lane out of one of these guys.
I guess,
and, you got all those
Caleb
guys.
and I need to be in the booth for a caution to happen.
Maybe. It's been since you two were in the booth since we had one. I will be honest, I am surprised Dover went caution-free. That was a race where I was like, that one I thought we were going to get something to happen. And, I mean, we did, but wasn't quite the something that we expected. All right, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the night here in the NAPA 400. Blaine Keys is going to cycle to the race lead because he came down, he committed right as that caution came out. He's going to be your race leader as Nicholas Samadeo falls to 8th. It's going to be a good race to the finish, but first let's see what happened to bring out the caution here at the Auto Club Speedway. Well, we got the one of the lead packs, I should say. As a matter of fact, this was the lead pack at the time. Actually, Blaine Keys was ahead of these guys, but regardless of the fact, Rogold Orn trying to come down the pit lane, and Jack Haas is not coming down right there, and the 74 just drives right into the 39. Ladovic gets a tap to the outside wall as well. That's a tough break for him. And, yeah, not a good spot to be in here at the Auto Club Speedway when you're sideways like that, and you got all these guys racing back to the line. That was the huge benefactor. But, first guy to come in, Roberto Crown Jr. is going to sideswipe the 74 as the 74 is trying to get back. Look at this 99 of Drew Webb, by the way. As Seth Cole, Jesse Turner barely avoid. Look at how close he gets to Roberto Crown Jr. there. Avoids the 5. Huge moment right there. Roberto's going to come back down on Seth Cole and Jesse Turner. Actually, Brad Stover got in the Andrew Millers they were trying to avoid. That's what happened. Oh my, and then Miller got in the Alford. The 11 machine of Eric Monaco, who got the win on Tuesday in the Sprint Series at Oregon. Not going to get the win here tonight. And then Turner coming back down there. And Brady Mardi Gras rear ends him. Tanner Parton and Logan Williams. You know, that's just the downside to being at the back of the field right there. Gutierrez in the middle of all that as well. Definitely the best driver of everyone involved here. And Gutierrez, you know, he's starting to slip up a little bit here. I'm not sure what's going on with that 36 team. But they've been struggling a little bit as of late. For Gutierrez's sake, he does have that race win at hand for the wild card if need be. But, yeah, tough break for those guys, you know. And all because Rogel Dorn just came down a little bit too early. Should have waited there for Jack Haas to get around, and that did not end up happening.
You're going to see right here, Rogel Dorn on the outside of Jack Haas. Going to try and still make it down to the pit road. He's going to get into the 39, up into the 51 of Charette. And then it's going to spin down the track. Almost gets hit by the 24 of Paulus, but then gets into the 5 of Crown Jr. And it's on from this point. You got cars scattering everywhere, getting into each other, trying to avoid it, and that just causes a huge pileup, taking out the whole back half of the field in turn 4, coming down the front straightaway. But really tough break for all of these guys involved, and especially a tough break for all these guys, especially Nicholas Samadia, who already came down the pit road. Probably going to set them behind the 8 ball. We'll just have to wait and see. And Gutierrez, a couple of guys hit the pit ball. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we completely missed
that.
And
over goes Logan Williams.
I mean, it's all the same guys who were already involved in the accident, but I think as they were coming down, they hit that pit road wall, and, yeah. Now, the good thing for Nicholas Samadio, and as we already kind of determined, he's going to be 8th here, so he was able to race back to the line because he already took the lap, which is good, and all these guys are going to actually be a little bit behind because they're going to start behind those 8 guys who had already come down the pit lane. So it actually worked out for the guys who came down the pit right then and there, and Blaine Keys is going to be your race leader once we get to racing here for the restart in the NAPA 400 at Auto Club. Let's get back to racing here. Let's see who gets it done here in this 50-lap race at the Auto Club Speedway. We're back here at the Auto Club Speedway, Fontana, California. Of course, a former racetrack now, unfortunately. But, hey, you know what? We're going to have ourselves a very good fight to the finish here in this NAPA 400. Everyone has taken fuel and tires, and they are ready to go for the rest of this race. You got Blaine Keys, Matthew Hubert, Matt Tuck, Kirsten Bell, Laura Chung, Travis Crampton, Brian Webb, Nicholas Samadio, Thomas Troxel, and Jack Haas. The top 10. Of course, Nicholas Samadio lost the race lead on that cycle. He was the first one to come down, and the caution came out right when he was on pit lane. The 8 guys ahead of him committed to the pit lane, so they were able to get the race lead, and everyone else who stayed out ended up falling from 9th on back with Troxel, Jack Haas leading him back there. Drivers out of the race include Logan Williams, Tanner Parton, Angel Gutierrez, Andrew Miller, Seth Cole, Rogel Dorn involved in that accident, Jesse Turner, and Brady Mardi Gras. Everyone else still on the lead lap, including Roberto Crown Jr., who was waved around. And it's going to be 19 laps to go here in the NAPA 400 for Blaine Keys in the 41, who is trying to pull away from Matthew Hubert right here. And how about Kirsten Bell, Matt Tuck? They're jammed up behind this Zero machine, and not necessarily the position you want to be in.
Well, Kirsten Bell and Matt Tuck have a little bit of history, so that should be an interesting battle to watch, to say the least. But Bell's kind of stuck on that bottom lane right now.
Matt Tuck trying to regain some positions here. He's in a good position now to defend his NAPA 400 race win. And Nicholas Samadio trying to move his way back through the field here, get back up to the race lead. He was the dominant driver earlier on in this run. And now he is back there behind Travis Crampton on the inside lane. He's losing some ground here to Jack Haas and the Brian Webb right there. How about Matthew Hubert, though, in the Zero machine? What a job he has done. Got the pole position in this race and has essentially been top 3 the entire night. But Matt Tuck in this 54 going to try to close in on these guys and defend his Auto Club race victory and maybe gain a little bit of vengeance from what happened at Dover a couple weeks ago.
I think it's worth watching the 39. He jumped around a bunch of those cars. They're 4 wide further back there.
My goodness. And Nicholas has got to be fuming right now in that 59 where he's at right now. He just can't get around these guys. He's stuck in that inside lane. They're all getting around him on the outside. And that's the thing. You get stuck in dirty air. You get stuck around all these guys. You lose all your momentum. I'm sure that hurts to see, Caleb. I tell you, you have terrible luck when you're in the booth when it comes to your drivers. But look at this. All these guys right on each other, right behind this 41 of Blaine Keys. Matthew Huber trying to close in on this 41 here. Matt Tuck's right here. But you know you got to use the outside lane to make a pass if you're going to make it work. And will these guys be able to utilize that? Oh, Matt Tuck trying to get Hubert loose there into the corner. Hubert have to check up on the outside. It's not going to work for the 54 as Hubert remains in second. And you got Laura Chung and Kirsten Bell trying to battle right there. And Laura Chung, how about the run she's having here for Dracoan Racing Enterprises? Trying to take third away from the 54 machine.
A little bit to the outside was Kirsten Bell. Going to take fourth away, trying to get to the back bumper of the 54 of Tuck. And
great run for Kirsten. She's been top 4 pretty much this whole race ever since she got there. Not been great on the restarts, but aside from that, that 93 has been flying.
You know, we're talking about all these other guys in the back here. Have we forgotten to mention that Blaine Keys is the one leading this race? Got the win at Texas. Of course, comes into this race 4th in points. Oh, but Hubert playing the chess match on him there. He made him block, and he's going to try to get something to work on the outside. And if he can get a push from Matt Tuck here, he might have a shot, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. He had an opportunity right there, but just not enough grip up there for him to really make it stick. And now Matt Tuck going for second on Matthew Hubert. But there's just nothing on the inside lane. And Kirsten Bell trying to make a move on Matt Tuck, and Hubert still on the outside, and this time he's got it on Blaine Keys.
He's got it.
And the 93 is going to stick on Keys' outside here, too. That might get the 93 to second.
I think it's a good chance that could happen. Blaine Keys on the inside. He's got no grip down there. And now Matt Tuck as well going to take third away. Jack Haas as well. I know you're loving this, Echo. Both of your drivers running top 5 right now. And did somebody pick Travis Crampton to win this race? Look at where he's running right now, in 6th.
How about this? Look who's in the top 10, Ace Garcia.
Don't jinx it now.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it now. It would be, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it would be his first top 10. And only he and Tanner Parton have yet to receive a top 10 finish this season. Obviously, we know the story with Ace Garcia this season. And, man, I feel terrible for Nicholas Amadeo right here. He just continues to fall back. Once that car got in dirty air, he just went down. Dropped an anchor on that 59 machine, down at 20th right now. Not at all what he needed in terms of the chase fight, and that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Every single week we do it.
Zero got her loose, though.
Kirsten Bell to the race lead here at Auto Club. You saw that in the corner of your screen. And Matthew Hubert couldn't hold it for too long, but Blaine Keys right back in the mix of all this as well. Trying to get around the Zero machine. Now that we're getting to the end of this race, these guys know that the tires and the fuel, that's what they've got. They're going for it right now here at Auto Club.
Oh, it's real racing now. Now we're getting later on. Everyone's starting to be aggressive. And Kirsten's doing the smart thing. Give the Zero the inside with how much momentum you can get on the outside lane. This is the best move for the 93 to go up top.
How about Jack Haas right here in the 39 machine to the outside there of Blaine Keys. Blaine Keys slipping back a little bit in this 41 machine. Not exactly the best run for him. All things considered, he was leading this race and lost it, and once you lose the lead, it's tough to get it back. Kirsten Bell is taking it away, though. And who knows, that might be the last pass for the race lead here in this race. At 93, we know how strong she is on these speedways. Of course, got the win in Las Vegas, got the win at Dover. And she's going to have to fend off her teammate, Jack Haas, and rookie Matthew Hubert right behind him. All three of these guys rookies to the Wawa Cup Series, by the way. And all but one of them have gone the victory lane so far this season. That's Matthew Hubert trying to get his first career, actually second career win on the channel. He got the Texas win in the Elimination Series a couple weeks ago. Blaine Keys trying for third here on Jack Haas. Matthew Hubert knows how to make the pass, so we saw him do it to Blaine Keys earlier. He's going to have to do it to Kirsten Bell if he's going to have any shot.
Hey, Jack Haas, remember he pitted on that last caution. He pitted the latest. He's the first car with the freshest tires. Granted, it's only about a lap or two.
Look at just the way they jam up right here. And Hubert trying to make that inside lane work. Not making it stick there, and he might lose second to Blaine Keys. Blaine had that outside. Look at that run Blaine Keys has. Oh, he was looking. He's peeking to the inside for the race lead right here on Kirsten Bell. And Blaine Keys trying to get his second win of the season. Will he make it stick on the inside? He might actually make it
trying
stick on the
to.
inside. He's
He
got
is.
it. Blaine Keys to the race lead here
What
on
a
lap 42 of 50,
41.
and you know that 41 is quick. You know Blaine Keys is going for it here tonight at Auto Club. How about that run for the Racing Motorsports driver? Oh, and Kirsten.
Just a bit of a slip up.
Oh, she's going to try to run this outside. Keep second from Hubert and Jack Haas. And she's going to be able to maintain a side-by-side battle with that Zero machine. You know what? I feel like any of these guys can win this race now. We've seen these guys pass quite a bit up front now. Any of these 7 guys can go to victory lane here tonight in this NAPA 400.
At the 55, Laura Chung. Haven't talked too much about him so far this season or this race. Chung up here in the top 5 on that outside, trying to get by Jack Haas right now. And maybe if that sticks well, can maybe get by the Zero of Matthew Hubert as they go through 1 and 2. We'll see what happens. Oh, Hubert looking to the inside of Bell. Not quite going to get it done just yet, but good run on the outside for Chung, trying to get up to 3rd now.
How about Laura Chung here tonight at Auto Club? She had a really good run at Rockingham earlier this season, but outside of that, hasn't been the best of runs. She's 21st in points coming into this race. You know, a race victory would shoot her into that wild card race. And, you know, she's got a shot. She's got a chance at possibly getting this race victory, but they can't let Blaine Keys pull away too much in this one, or otherwise he's going to roll away with this thing. How about this 41?
They're going to have to go through the 41 here to get the race win here.
Kirsten.
Keys has the strongest car. He's got the best ability to keep the momentum going. I think Keys I think this is his race to lose here.
We're going to have to see if he can hold these guys off for 5 more laps. It's going to be 5 to go across the line here at the Auto Club Speedway for Blaine Keys.
93's closing, though.
Good rally for Bell.
Good run. Once she got out of that battle with Laura Chung, she was able to gain some momentum. You know, the draft is very strong here on these straightaways, and that definitely pulls these guys right in, especially if they stay in line. Matt Tuck trying to get around Jack Haas. If he's going to have any chance, he's got to stay with that 39, I feel like, and then try to make a pass on all of them if they jam up. Going to be very interesting to see how it ends up playing out.
I wonder if they'll catch the 5 here before the end of this. It's a bit of a ways out, but...
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one there with Roberto Crown Jr.
No.
They're just about crossing the line now. And, oh yeah, there's a good chance they're going to close into them before the end of this race. 4 laps to go across the line here for Blaine Keys. Both of these drivers, actually the top 3, have all gone to victory lane this season. Blaine and Jack, they're going for their second wins. Kirsten's going for her 3rd.
Bell been searching around the racetrack a little bit. You saw there in 3 and 4 went a little bit higher than the 41, but did not have the best 1 and 2 there. That's going to allow the 39 Jack Haas looking to the inside of the 93, but this could potentially even benefit Kirsten Bell as she's going to get a good run on the outside. Here she comes.
Here goes the 93.
These guys don't seem to instinctively go to that outside lane, and because of that, you know, you get these guys to jam up just a little bit. Once they get stuck in that outside lane because they're getting past, that's when they get the advantage. But Kirsten's got a shot here now. She's all over the back bumper of Blaine Keys coming off a 2. Will she try to make a run right here? And will they run on the Roberto Crown Jr. before the end of this race? That could be a deciding factor if Blaine Keys catches them at the wrong time. Kirsten's going to try the outside. And she's got a shot this time. Will she be able to hold it? No. Remember, Blaine Keys made that pass on the inside lane to get that race lead. You know that 41 is strong if you got the inside lane to work, so it's going to take a lot to get around this 41, and that may have been Kirsten's last chance, but this 5 might be a deciding factor. Jack Haas trying to take second from his teammate. Laura Chung, Matt Tuck battling right there for the 4th position. Kirsten's going to get another run here. She's on the outside lane trying to close in on Blaine. Next time by, it's the white flag here in the NAPA 400 at Auto Club. And Blaine Keys trying to get his 2nd win of the season. He's going to close in Roberto Crown Jr. right here. What will he do with the 5 in the way?
Will he try to use the Crown as a pick?
Oh, he's going to be able to get around him here. That's huge right there for Blaine Keys. White flag for Blaine Keys here at Auto Club. Cleanly gets around the 5. Most of these guys will cleanly get around the 5. And he's got a bit of a gap here on Kirsten Bell, but Kirsten might be able to get one last push here if she possibly can find it, but that 41 had a great exit off the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, I think this is the 41's race to lose. The 93 might try one last rush into 3. Look at Jack Haas go back for third on Tuck.
It's not going to happen for Kirsten Bell. It's going to be Blaine Keys getting his second win of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series. Blaine Keys wins the NAPA 400 at Auto Club. And you know what? A good day for your team, Echo. Kirsten Bell, Jack Haas second and third. Matt Tuck will be fourth. And Laura Chung gets a top 5 here at the Auto Club Speedway.
He did it, Ace Garcia with a top 10.
Top 10. There you go. There you go. Back in there for Ace Garcia. Oh, man. I'm sure he is loving that one. First top 10 of the year after all that happened. Going up to this point. Nicholas Samadillo rebounded to 13th. And, you know considering everything that happened, not too bad. Going to lose some ground to Jack Haas and Matt Tuck, though. But he's going to gain on Drew Webb, who finished considerably behind him right there. That 99 machine finishing 25th. Samadillo's still going to be outside the top 10, but you know what? Damage control right there. You don't think he really gained or lost anything in this race. Blaine Keys gained a lot, though. How about that 41? Second win of the season. Got it at Texas. He's going to get it here at Auto Club Speedway. 2 weeks from now, it's the Coke 600, and he's the defending race winner at that race. Watch out for Blaine Keys here on the Wawa Cup Series Racing Motorsports. Looking very strong here up to this point in the season. That was a fun race. How about that near the end? Those guys making passes left and right for the race lead, and once they knew they could make it to the end on fuel, they just kept on going, and that's exactly what happened. And Blaine Keys, I think he just had the strongest car. Kirsten Bell had an excellent car. So did Jack Haas. Great day for you guys there at Evans Ross Racing, but Blaine was just the dominant guy, and he's the one getting it done here in NAPA 400.
Yeah, good. 2-3, you'll take a 2-3 run, especially in terms of where it puts us for those chase points. It'll help Kirsten in the wild card chase. It'll really help in the owner standings. And most importantly, it just shows that we've got cars to compete on these big tracks, which is going to be really, really important come chase time. Really good run for us. But yeah, there was no beating that 41 at the end. I think he just had the strongest car. Kirsten still did a really good job to try and get there, but just didn't have enough.
And Nicholas, I'm sorry. It always seems to happen when I'm up here in the booth, but still did a pretty good job rebounding up to 13th. Decent job limiting the damage done in the point standings, but still a good day regardless. 13th for Samadillo. And actually, you know, a solid day for Dylan Matthews, too, bringing home 17th in that hot seat car. Shame for Logan Williams to get taken out in that accident. But, you know, like I said, these things just happen sometimes in NR. Sometimes it's inevitable. But yeah, that was an incredible race. Really happy I could be up here to call that one. That's why we're all so sad that Auto Club's being.
Yeah, because you know what? It was kind of like that in real life, too. And such a shame that they couldn't keep this track going, because it was definitely one of the better tracks for the next gen car. And hey, you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. I kind of considered, you know, not returning this race next year, but after what we saw here tonight, I think it's pretty safe to say that the NAPA 400 will be back on the schedule in 2025. So
I think you made the right choice.
I think so too. A great racetrack here, and man, what a good one there. And I think it's good later in the season as well, seeing those guys who we know are good. Look at that top 4. All 4 of those guys we know are strong. Matt Tuck hasn't won yet this season. He should have arguably won at Dover, but you know what? We've got a lot of guys here who are definitely finding some strong runs here as of late, and that chase bubble is going to get very interesting because we're seeing those same guys run well in all these races, and you know what? If they keep on running well, there's going to be fewer spots for the other guys to get into the chase, and if all these guys are running well, then it's going to mean the chase is going to be really good, and all these guys are going to be battling it out once we get to that, starting at the end of June. Thank you guys so much for watching here from the Auto Club Speedway. You know what? The next event on the channel, it's Indy 250 practice. Isn't that right, Caleb? Caleb's going to be doing the practice, both practices. He's going to be doing qualifying for us as well. And he'll be taking over the Hers Elimination Series the week after that during Indy 250 week. It's here, guys. The Indy 250 is just around the corner. 2 weeks from tomorrow, noon Eastern time, right here on AG, the channel, the biggest race of the year. We are so excited for that one. Hey, Blaine Keys is attempting to qualify for it. We'll see what he does next week in qualifying Be awesome to see him in that race. I think it would be his first Indy 250, which, hey, after what we've seen so far here in the Wawa Cup Series with him, be awesome to see him go for it over there. But how about Blaine Keys? You know, he's a guy who's been around since the very, very beginning, the first ever season we did on the channel, and he is still kicking it, and definitely one of the best drivers in the series up to this point here, and he's got another one. That is his 4th career points-paying win in the Wawa Cup Series. And you know what? He's definitely one of the best drivers we've got so far this season. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Blaine Keys on his race victory here at Auto Club. And here are the point standings for the Wawa Cup Series after 14 races. We'll see you guys next week from North Wilkesboro in the Brant 400 short track race in there. That's going to be a dicey one. And then 2 weeks from now, it's the Coca-Cola 600. Probably one of my favorite races of the year, obviously. It's so much fun to do 100 laps there at Charlotte. We're going to have a blast. And hey, you know what? Blaine Keys could very well go to victory lane once again in that race. We'll just have to find out and see 2 weeks from now. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. On behalf of Echo Evans Ross and Caleb Rose, I will see you guys later.